Senator Marshall.
I'm going to yield my time to Senator Tuberville, and I'll come back. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here today. Very interesting. I'm from Alabama. We got a lot of water. We don't have this problem, but I spent a lot of time out west, and I'm a big hunter, duck hunter. I understand your problem, and it is a huge problem. I've been on Lake Powell several times. What a mess. My question is, we know we got a problem. Why do we have a problem? I mean, we got to figure out the problem before we can get a solution. Is it governors? Is it we're sending too much water to the cities? I know Dallas and Fort Worth are draining the aquifer in North Texas. They're sending millions of gallons a day. So why are we in this situation? Who wants to take it first? Dr. Mew, Mr. Mew, you start. Anybody else want to answer this? Why do we have this? Well, I hear climate change. I'm fine with climate change, but why? How do we stop this?
I might take the first crack at that. I would say twofold. First, the majority of the western states fall under what's called the prior appropriation doctrine, and individual water rights are private property rights dedicated and owned by the owner of the property. A lot of times that development happened clear back as in the 1800s and certainly by 1970 or 1980. We really didn't have adequate data at that point to have a good handle on what the situation was going to be. So that's part of it is just lack of understanding at the time we were allocating the water supply and water rights. The second is that as we think about it from the standpoint of making those decisions, we're using the best available data that's available to us at that point. Our history, you've heard the chairman talk about the fact that the West is as dry as it's been for 1,200 years. Well, we don't have 1,200 years worth of record to make decisions on. At that point, we had 50 to maybe 100 years of record, and I think if we look at the overall history of the record, we allocated a lot of that water supply during a fairly wet period. And so we consequently, in a lot of cases, over-allocated the resource and did that in a private property rights situation. We certainly want to respect those private property rights, but it puts us in a situation of how do we manage a more limited situation than we thought we had at the time those water rights were issued. And I think, it has been pointed out that the question of is it urban versus ag, I think we're all in this together, whether it's ag or urban, industry, environment.
It's going to take both.
It's going to take all of us working together to resolve this.
Yeah. So we have this problem, and you look at it and say, the climate is changing, which it obviously moves back and forth, but is it because we're concentrating more people in one area that they're stopping the water from coming down south? He's the end of the food chain here in South Arizona. So we got to figure out the problem. We can't just throw money at something that's not going to help. Anybody else want to answer this? I mean, where do we start?
I'll give you a little more time because I just think it's such a fundamentally good question. Senator Tuberville, thank you. Dr. Schultz, did you want to take?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question, Senator Tuberville. I can mostly speak to the research on forest fires. That's my area of expertise, but I can say that we're seeing a lot of data that indicates because of anthropogenic climate change, human-caused climate change, we're seeing significant increases in temperatures, which is leading to rain that's not falling as snow anymore. So we have different timing of flows, water that's evaporating. We're looking at potential low to no snow futures in
Why
just
is it
a
doing
few.
that though? Why are we
Because
having?
it's getting hotter primarily, and then we're having changes in precipitation patterns. So for example, there's these predictions that we'll see much more intensive flooding after fires because these atmospheric rivers will come in and we'll have more extreme rainfall in the summertime than we've ever seen before. And so it's the increased temperature is leading to changes in how and when water is coming, and then changes in precipitation patterns. if we look at patterns for forest fires, you know, for a while we were talking about the fact that past fire suppression in our fire-prone forests was a big reason we were seeing more fires. But now we're seeing that climate change effects, and this is when I talk to my, you know, fire scientist colleagues, they're saying climate change and increased heat, it's leading to higher temperatures, different relative humidity, wind speeds, and increased fire behavior in ways that we've never seen before. So a paper just came out that said there were 3 times the amount of fire in our high elevation forests than ever has been seen on the record. So I think to a large extent we can think about how we can adapt to climate change. You know, how do we live with it? What do we do for our forests in the meantime? But fundamentally, we have to reduce carbon emissions and slow climate change. That's ultimately where the solution lies.
Thank you.